Welcome to Garden Planning with a Biodynamic Moon Calendar for January 2024. My name is Katrina Wolf. My business is Blue Borage, and I love helping people make sense of the Biodynamic Moon Calendar so they can grow even more in their gardens. I recommend downloading this free garden planning tool. It's super simple. If you do this each month, then at the end of the year, you'll be able to look back and see what you planned, what you got done, what you had to postpone, and just basically refine your expectations so that year by year, you get better at managing all the stuff, and fingers crossed, you manage to do more. So it is January 2024. It is the middle of summer. What are your goals for the garden this month? It might be around conserving water. It might be enjoying the beautiful weather. Once you know your goals, if there are any biodynamic preparations you need to use, list them. That can often prompt ordering them or finding them in a cupboard or a drawer. What are your composting goals? And then once you've got all that listed, you can go to the calendar and just look for the relevant information and not get too bogged down by the distraction of looking at what I'm doing or what someone else is doing and feeling like you need to do all of it every year, because none of us can do that. And then end of the month, I think it's really important to reflect on what actually got done, what's getting carried forward, and then plan the next month. Key dates for January. We have full moon on the 26th, the new moon on the 12th. Moon opposite Saturn is happening twice in January, once on the 1st of the month and then again on the 28th. We start the month with 10 days in the ascending period, then 2 weeks descending back into the ascending period, and we've got the nodes on the 5th and the 18th. That PDF download is, I no longer have the subscription program running. I sell the PDFs on my Ko-fi account. You can go and get that if you want to download and use it. So a couple of minutes, that's all the basic information that you need. So if that's all you wanted, then click out and go get started on your garden planning. If you want to stick around and learn a little bit more detail or see what I'm working on, then stay put. So for me, for the middle of summer, I am pretty focused on keeping all of the soil as well covered as possible so that I use a minimum amount of water. I'm now on tank water in the countryside and it's hot. I don't need to grow vegetables to sell. I just need enough to feed myself. And I've kind of, after 2 years, it's like my little garden is covered with enough compost that I can slow down the pace that I'm making compost and focus on composting in the community, which is really exciting. So I've got a little bit of seed sowing, but not much. A little bit of composting, not much. I think the focus for me for 2024 is really about making the compost preparations, which I'm so excited about. So the 5 gardens that I tend, the Blue Borage soil farm is top left, and that's my little granny flat. The paddock that I moved into 2 years ago is the only grass that's left is vehicle access to the rest of the property. My landlords live on site, and there are 3 acres. There's a flower farm, food forest, an orchard, 2 flocks of chickens, the neighbors graze their cows, and there's always a new project in the pipeline. It's really cool. Top right is the museum pollinator garden. It was the first day that I saw the effect on the weeds of the glyphosate weed killer and said, please, can you stop poisoning this land and let me grow flowers, which I now do. Bottom right, the Shire Centre Food Forest is where I will host the monthly circular gardening workshops, the first one on the 8th of January. And so that's a space for people to gather and do a bit of a deep dive into what it actually means to become a preparation maker. It's also where I host community hot compost builds, and I'll be writing to all the local schools and sustainable businesses and non-sustainable businesses and see how many groups we can get out to Shada in 2024. Bottom left is the Whangarata Community Hall. I used this adorable building for edible gardening classes through winter, and I kind of fell in love with the whole property and hit a roadblock in terms of trying to find out who's responsible for using weed killer and what would need to happen to stop it. So just wait and see what happens in that space this year. And in the middle is Hazel's garden. Hazel is my 2-year-old granddaughter. She's turning 2 in January. And her mother, Jessica, is a law student at Aotearoa Uni. So I went down babysitting in spring, had a wonderful time. I am saving up to go back down. If you know anyone in Dunedin who would like a compost consultation, send them my way. As soon as I get 3 or 4 people booked, then I can book my flights and go babysitting again, which I would love. So projects this month for these spaces. The soil farm, we have Buttercup overtaking the orchard, and I have offered to make friends with the Buttercup and get it turned into soil and get the garden beds planted, the pathways cleared so that we can enjoy the fruit season that's coming up without going, oh, the weeds. Top right, the museum pollinator garden. We've got so many flowers self-seeding. It's just a joy. And I started potting some of them up to pass on to other community groups and spaces that are also starting pollinator gardens. If you know anyone in the area that would like to share some of the flowers that we're growing, then send them my way. Bottom right, at the Shada Centre, we did a gathering and invited Peter and Jill Backus from Thames to come out and talk with us and make some plans about the potential for the Shada Centre Food Forest 2024. Very exciting. Yeah, and it's really not that far from Auckland or Hamilton, very close to Pukekohe, and has the potential to be a teaching garden for commercial growers in the Franklin district as well. So I can't wait to get back into that. In the middle there, Hazel, we planted a raspberry together. That was I think that was the last day of babysitting before exams were over, and can't wait to get back. And the Whangarata Community Hall, just waiting to see what happens there. So those are the tasks. There'll be hot compost piles at the museum garden. Otherwise, just my normal monthly routine. So when I look at the month of January, I need to pay attention to seed sowing dates. So that's at the very start of the month. In fact, today I'm recording this on the 23rd of December. I need to get some chamomile seeds so that I can plant those on New Year's Day. There's the event at the Shada Centre, so this is a 2-week reminder to start promoting that. I often leave the promotion and marketing too late, and people get frustrated that they can't change their plans. My apologies for that. I am a 1-person team here at the moment. Museum hot compost, that will be Thursdays in the middle of January. And fingers crossed, there's an Australian gardener who's coming over to New Zealand to do a garden makeover, and I've asked him to come to Tuako, and he has not yet said no. So hopeful there. I have listed soil farm classes. If you would like to come and see what I'm doing here at Soil Farm, have a poke through the compost, look at all the different worm farm solutions, and pick my brains about any of the topics I teach, then I will have a booking link below. You can make a time. I need to fill the second CPP pit this month, and then end of January, I've got a weekend with DIY Almanac course. So supporting a group of people who are creating their own calendars and blending biodynamics with any other modalities that people like to use. And I've got people in the DIY Almanac from last year who don't even use biodynamics, and you don't have to. You know, a lot of it is just good common sense gardening. So if you would like help planning your gardening tasks, reach out. There's my email address, katrina@bluebird.co.nz. And otherwise, I will see you in February. The biodynamic tasks autumn is really busy with preparation making. So just in the back of your mind, if you want to get into that, think March, April, May. There's a lot to do. But February is a good time to set things up for that to be smoother. So do come back in a month and feel free to come along to the preparation workshops at the Shada Centre. I can't wait to get into that.